Okay. You get this link to the good people in the Discord. They need it the most. Sample class is the only place that a piano roll based musician can become a sample god. And on top of that, put the whole package together. How to design covers for your kits in Photoshop, how to set up your store, the best file storage, the best management for turning your passion for making loops and compositions into a legitimate business where you can not only make the money back from your investment, but profit into the future and not have to depend on sending your loops to another producer only for them to tell you that you will not be receiving 50% and you probably won't be getting paid at all. Sample class, from chord to composition to cash. That's right, sample class. Melodic Mouse, Dade Queso, what up? Oh, Dade Queso canceled his producer courses membership. I seen that. Broke my heart, man. What did I do to you? You know? What did I do to you? For you guys that don't know, we have rebranded Studio One Tutorials into producercourses.com. And I don't want anybody freaking out. I don't want you worrying. Don't want anybody thinking like, oh my God, what's going on? You know, because you guys see me using different DAWs, wondering like, hey, is CMP getting off Studio One? Is he going to be using MPC the whole time? Is he going over to Luna? Is he going to learn FL? Is he going to finally go on Logic? None of that's happening. People who have the producer courses membership, you guys know, like, producer courses is all about you, right? It's all about coming to the site, joining the Discord, making your own personal request. Producer courses is for you guys that watch my content on YouTube and you want to ask me like specific things. If you need a specific help with, you know, a certain style of something, I will make you the videos, whatever you ask. It's 100% user generated content. I don't wake up in the morning with an idea and then go and cut a video for producer courses. It's in the Discord. You guys ask for it. I film it. We talk about it. I learn stuff from your requests, and hopefully you guys learn some stuff from the videos, right? This week's video was a Wiz Khalifa and Cardo video from their mixtape that they dropped in December. Basically talking about patterns and how to create you know, like multiple pattern beats, 6 pattern beats, and kind of the mentality, breaking that down. And some of that's going to spill over into the stream too, actually. I'll be showing you guys some of that. But the you know, the other reason why I went into the brand, you know, the rebrand for producer courses, first of all, it is not it is not because like I have beef with Studio One. I remember when I did that, like people kept on hitting me up on my Twitter like, oh, I can't believe you did. I'm like, dude, like, bro, like 3 years ago somebody made like some Instagram posts about like CMP needs to be the face, and it's just like, dude, bro, like I want to tell you guys right now, when you guys go and do that stuff, and I was able to cut a lot of that stuff off, you're not helping. Like nobody, like, first of all, I didn't ask to be the face of anything. I get Studio One for free anytime I want to like put something on the feed or be featured in their socials. All I got to do is reach out to Perry and do it. Like, I have an awesome relationship with Presonus, so like that that big weirdo energy, like, oh, CMP needs to be recognized by perform personas. Like, y'all gotta stop, right? So it's not because like, yo, CMP is finally broken away. Like, nah, dude, like what it is producer courses is just about not scaring the new people, right? Because when people see a site and it's named Studio One Tutorials, you know, instantly they think like, hey, this is all going to be Studio One tutorials, and that's not what I teach. That's not what I teach. So I wanted to like I make courses for producers, right? Whatever producers need to know. That's what we work on at producer courses. It's not DAW centric, you know. If you have a request, I don't want you to think that you can't request some MPC shit. I don't want you to think that you can't request some Ableton stuff. I don't want you to think that you can't request something in Logic, even though I hate Logic. And I'm going to give you a hard time about asking me how to use Logic, you know, but I help you out with it because that's what it's all about. Justin says, our producer course is going to talk about how 500 series are not worth it. 500 series are totally worth it if you're recording microphones. Hey yo, what's up, Maldo? What's up, Shane? I hope you're starting to feel better. Feast, what's going on, bro? Fiore. Yo, Fiore. Fiore's the GOAT, bro. What's up? What's up, William Oates? I appreciate you guys. So I was dude, I've been waiting like um I love that Spaces has come to Twitter because it's so much easier to keep up with than Clubhouse. And Clubhouse, like ever since they let them Android people in Clubhouse, Clubhouse has just fell off, man. Clubhouse fell off so much when they let the Android people in. It's so bad. Like Clubhouse turned into eh, eh, it's bad in there. But I'm still like interested in the concept of NFTs and how they relate to music. And so anytime like I see an NFT space, I hop in there and try to listen and try to listen to people. Um but dude, like music NFTs, bro, it's such a nobody knows what they're talking about. And the one thing that uh that music NFTs is like the fundamental flaw with the whole conversation around music NFTs is because the people who are talking about it, they're they don't realize that they're not when you make music, you're not making music for the good of the music community, right? You're not making music for the good of the creative community. So all of the conversations around music NFTs are slanted about how beneficial it is to the creative community, right? But but I mean, bro, when you do stuff like that, like that's how you wind up with like these I'll give you an in real life example for some of the for some of the for some of the mature people in the chat, right? Like a real world example is if you guys remember what's it called? Like your local music scene, right? So if you let me get the chat on screen. But if you go into if you remember like when you have like a local music scene, right? The local music scene is pretty much consistent of like artists, rappers, bands, whatever. There's a couple of guys in that circle who were able to book the venues, and then all the different acts and bands, they go perform at the venues, and the people in the audience are like the actual acts and bands or the direct friends of that actual bands. And what happens is you have different um we'll call them classes, right? You have different, different graduating classes of these different local scenes. And what winds up happening is each class grows about as big as it can. It never expands. They never go on tour. They never go outside of their city. And what winds up happening is these people become, disillusioned. They start talking shit about like, oh, the scene can't grow because of this and that. The scene can't grow because of this. We need more support in the scene. We need more support in the scene. But what they never do, they create a great place to play. They create a great place for artists to come in, but they never create a great atmosphere for people who want to have fun listening to music. They never do that. They make it they make it so that they can get free drinks. They make it so that they have a spot, to go get high before they perform and everything. They make it so that they have their own little world, and that is the same thing that I keep hearing in these music NFT rooms. It's just all talk about the smart contract and how it's gonna benefit, and how the playlists are gonna be democratized, and how there's gonna be more of an emphasis on independent artists, sharing their personal journeys, and they're really thinking about the music that they drop, and they're gonna be able to share and connect this. They all have no idea. They all have no idea. And this is the fundamental flaw with creative world, right? This is the key I want to leave with you guys, because if there's younger people listening, you need to align yourself not with other creative people, right? You're the creative person. If you want to go the extra mile in your creative business, you have to align yourself with somebody who is in the business, right? And I'm not talking about like connected in the business, like in the industry, but somebody who is going to take it upon themselves and say like, hey, you know what? All this non-creative work, all of this admin, all of this administrative stuff, I have the time and energy, and I have the excitement to handle this, right? Because that's what these group of guys are missing, right? There's nobody. And what's going to wind up happening, this is my prediction. The people who are going to figure it out aren't the people on Twitter with .eth after their name. They're not going to figure it out. They're going to create systems and marketplaces that are good for musicians, to find musicians, to support musicians, and fucking circle jerk musicians, right? That's what they're going to do. But the people who are good at business, right? And when I say business, what business is, the business of music, right? What's the business of music? The business of music is getting music to people who want to buy it. That's the business of music. Okay? That's the business of music. Okay? So the business of music, what's going to wind up happening here is the business of music is going to step in. They're going to let you guys create your systems that work for, that work for your circle jerk, right? And then what they're going to do is they're going to come in and they're going to snipe it. They're gonna come in and they're gonna snipe it, and they're gonna superimpose their talent, which is getting this to the average everyday person. Okay, and then they're gonna put the gas on it, and then those smart contracts that you guys are so excited about, that you think are gonna be so fair, like you're just gonna wind up with 360s, but they're gonna be in a smart contract now. Okay, and they're going to be able to make you a value proposition because y'all can't figure out how to get your marketplaces off the ground. They're going to make you a value proposition that makes it say, well, yeah, you know what, I'll do a 360 on a smart contract that's immutable and can never be changed, because it's going to work out for me in the long run. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same thing, unless unless somebody decides that's like, hey, you know what? I wanna. I want to do the business part. I want to do the business part because right now, all these conversations that people are having in open spaces on apps where you don't read the terms and conditions, yo, you're going, you're giving away all your plays, bro. You're giving away all your plays. It's fucking crazy, and it's crazy because it's like, yo, y'all boys are so used to having a camera on you that you think like it's okay to just like nothing bad's gonna happen. This is normal. No one would ever take my idea and use it for their benefit. That would happen. Oh man. Oh, Fiore. Justin says at least the 360s will be spelled out. That's gonna make people feel better, bro. Like B Maverick says, I don't talk about anything online that benefits me. For you, bro. So um yo, this so I was on the Twitters again, you know, and it's just like is there like some kind of alarm where every 6 months we got to talk about drums versus melodies? You know what I mean? Like, is there like is there some type of like internal clock that I don't know about? Where it's just like, hey, it's time to argue about drums versus melodies. Which one is harder? Which one deserves more money? Me. And that's the question I found myself pondering this week because it was dominating the producer Twitter timeline, and normally it annoys me, and then I started to look at like who all was talking about it, and I was like, these are not people that I follow. These are people that Twitter is putting in front of me because I look at like producer stuff, and these people look at producer stuff, so that's what they're boosting up into my algorithm. They think that I want to see this shit, but I don't. And the reason why that kind of stuff comes across your timeline, um and this is what whenever I get an understanding of something, it stops irritating me. Things really only irritate me when I don't understand why they're happening. I think it's because I'm more irritated with myself, because like, why don't you know, why don't you understand that, idiot? But the the what I realized was that every every uh every day, every day, every day, some kid hacks FL Studio and starts their journey to, make $15,000 a year selling beats so they can quit their job at Dollar Tree. Every day that happens, which means that every week there is a new, and every month there is a new group of producers, right? And it's never going to stop as long as we have socials. But every week, every month, there's going to be a new group of producers that makes the groundbreaking realization that creating and composing a musical piece, be it with drums or without drums, is more difficult than clicking in notes on a step sequencer while using the same exact drums that are being used on hit records. It's going to happen every week. There's going to be somebody who has that realization because there's just that many new musicians, right? So it's a lot less triggering. Um there were but I seen it kind of ramping up. There were some videos from some cool YouTubers I like to watch that were talking about their opinions about like loot makers and how, because like a lot of people who send out loot packs, they'll put, their terms in there, right? Um, Thinking that that is going to be what covers them. So they'll send that to like an industry producer who's doing placements, and they'll say like, "Hey, you can use these as long as you give me 50%." Um, and there's somebody talking about like how when they read that they're like, "Okay," like and their thing was like, bro, you're not even the biggest loot maker, so you're not entitled to half of the work, right? So put that in one bucket, right? um I seen someone else's opinion about it where they were saying that like, oh, loot makers don't deserve 50% because they send the same loops to everybody, right? So okay, you could put that in the bucket, right? So basically there's a conversation going around, and the reason why the conversation is being started is because people who are sending loops out, they're doing the right thing. They're making the assertion. They're saying, "Hey, I'm starting the negotiation with 50%," right? That's what I would like. Um and I think that the people who are responding to it, um I don't know, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny how they're responding to it, because like, what do you expect? You know what I mean? Like, if somebody, instead of the conversation turning, devolving into, which is harder, or or how dare you even ask for that? I mean, it's a respect for your fellow man, right? It's a respect for your fellow creative. Hey, I created something. I have this IP, and should we do business together? This is where I would like to start the conversation. I would like to start with half, right? I think I'm making half the beat. But if if you're the person responding to it, you don't have to go to your social and cry. You know what I mean? Like, I get that it makes good content, but you don't have to go to your social and cry. You just go and you make the deal with whoever you're working with, right? Like, you go and you see this, and you see somebody's thing, and you say like, "Hey, you're not even a famous loot maker. Why would I pay you that?" Well, I mean, don't have that conversation with us. Have it with them. You know what I mean? Because because the thought that I have with putting that on social, um what's the goal? Like, my question is like, what's the goal with putting it on social? Are you trying to influence other creatives into not asking for what they feel that they deserve? Is that like, are you trying to influence young men and women into being afraid for asking what they feel that they deserve? Are you trying to gaslight them and make them feel crazy? Is that really what we're doing? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even like the biggest, like, producer community capaholic. You know what I mean? Like, you guys know, I say it all the time. Like, fuck them kids, bro. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to inspire the youth and make sure that they have, like a touchy feely good time. You know what I'm saying? If I'm here, if people want to learn how to get better at music, and I can help you with that, I'll show you. That's what I do. You know, I'm not here to make everybody feel good. But when I experience this conversation, and I watch people's videos, and they're and they do kind of position themselves as like inspiring the kids. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. These are grown ass men. These are successful musicians. These are people that are, that these jits look up to, and you're telling them, and you're coming at them from a position of authority and being like, yo, how dare you even get the inclination that you could even ask someone such as myself for an equal share. You know what I mean? And it's just like really, what are, what are we doing? I'm not doing that. What are you doing? What's the goal? Are you just like, does it just annoy you so much that someone would ask for half of the track? That there's this new wave of creatives who are saying like, no, 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 all that stuff y'all talked about being independent, yeah, that sounds good, I would like to exercise it. And then you're like, oh, I didn't mean with me, I didn't mean with my business. I grew up in the old record industry and I would like to superimpose those rules and regulations onto you. It's my turn. I worked so hard to get here. How come I don't get to do that? You know what I mean? That's what it comes off. That's what it comes off like. You know. 607 says, yeah, I think that's what's going on. The current business model of the industry is to haze the person under you, and them giving away rights is paying dues. Yeah, yes, that is what it that is what it surely seems like. Justin says it's wild because the guys that do that only got like one major placement anyways. Real artists and producers that make money understand to pay all the creatives. Yeah, I mean, there's different, and I'm not even like, not pointing fingers at nobody. I'm not addressing anybody personally. There is like that's what I'm saying. There's multiple different voices in this conversation, but there seems to be a singular chorus, and the singular chorus is, you're crazy for asking for 50%, right? Which that kind of worries me. Like, I'll tell you right now, I have, just for full transparency, right? I have a very successful industry music producer who I am sending loops to every week right now. Okay, trying to work on placements still to this day. Okay, um, and I have not, I have not sent any terms. We have not discussed any business. Right. The reason why is because my school of thought, and the way I've always done things is, we're going to make the music first, right? We're going to make the music first. Now, if this person that I'm working with says, "All right, Joe, CMP, you're getting 12% on this," you know, you're getting 12%, right? Because this is your first one, nobody knows you. Whatever fuck his reasoning may or may not be. If that's what happened, am I going to be surprised? No. You know what I mean? Because these are the stories that I've heard, right? I I know what dude, I know what they I know I not even try. Like, I know what they split with the loop makers. Now, there's other people. I'm not saying that this is what bro is doing, but there's other people who do equal splits on everything. A lot of people do that. That's good. That's actually more common than not, right? Which is why it seems that the folks who are the most vocal are the people from the other side. And I just wish that the people who were doing equal splits, um you know whenever they if this ever came across their social, I wish that they would chime in and say like, hey, we do equal splits over here. That way, just so that the people who feel like they want to stand on, like, I'm standing on my square of an equal split, they know who to tap in with, right? So they don't have to feel like, yo, the only way that I could do this is for is bro. I somebody who frequents our chat, right? He placed a loop with a big producer in Miami, and they hit him for 7%. 7. And I mean, there's many reasons why the number can go that low. This one was a situation where there was a billion hands in the pot, and it just be like that. But when it comes to content, and when it comes to the socials, I just don't understand the need to. I would think more that you would want to encourage people to ask for the most possible. Like, if you're really genuine in trying to coach people up, right? And this isn't anything. This is where you're getting a job interview or whatever. Like, if unless and unless unless the community on that side, the real community, the industry community, that the internet community is like so desperately, trying to become a part of and gain approval from. Unless that community is so fragile in the ego that somebody saying like, "Hey, this is what I want," will just make them never want to talk to them again. You know what I mean? Then why tell people not to ask? And I truly suspect that that's the case, right? I think I think that the reason why you're seeing this is because they're saying like, "Hey, no, 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 y'all don't understand, right? The people who you're petitioning, they went through a lot to get to where that they're at, right? And they went through so much that in this culture, what you're doing isn't done, right? By asking for the 50%, what you're doing isn't done. So what you need to do is chill out, because we're really sensitive on this side. And if you evoke our sensitivities, we're liable not to talk to you. And you may not like it. It may not seem fair, but I'm just trying to explain to you how it is. That's that's how the discussion sounds to my ears. I don't know. Do you guys hear something different? Let me know. Now I'm gonna tell you like this. This is where the conversation gets kind of goofy. If we're talking about BeatStar splits, it is, Justin. That's why we stream, bro. Justin, you know what I'm doing here? You see the vision, dog? Come on now. Justin, or what's it called? Um when it comes to like BeatStar splits, bro, y'all are all internet producers. So you better give Buddy who sent you the loot 50%, because what the fuck, dog? You know what I mean? Like, really? Like, don't like come on. Everybody's in the same community there. Why would you like I just like, even in a devil's advocate sense, like, or not even in a devil's advocate sense, like I really understand the industry producers perspective on it. You know what I mean? Like, the industry producers, I get it, bro. Like, them dudes put it on the line. They put it on the line. They really did. They really did. It wasn't just like some lucky stuff. They didn't go to, you know, some crazy sex party and get, and get groped in an inappropriate way to prove, like they're not drinking virgin blood. Like they really just went to work, put it on the line, sacrifice, and then finally made it. And they were raised in this culture of that you do all that sacrifice eventually to be in a position where you can benefit off of somebody else's sacrifice. That's just how it is, and you can't expect to change that culture in one cycle. You just can't. You can't expect that. It's unrealistic. You could try, but if your goal is to be in that circle, it's just not going to happen. The circle's too small, and everybody's on one accord. It's not going to happen. From what I hear. So, but I mean, for people on BeatStars to look at what them industry boys are doing and then think they're the same thing, that's where the goofball shit lies. That is not okay. That right there, like if we're talking about like some kid from France pays $25 for a collab and you're only giving them 30%. Like, who the fuck do you think you are, bro? Like, what is that? But yeah, just for and I think what gets really conflated is like when kids start talking about it and they turn it into a situation of what is harder, right? Like what's harder to do? Is it harder to make drums or is it harder to compose? Like it's harder to compose when you don't know how to compose, but once you know how to compose, what you know what I mean? Like what the fuck? Like, is it what's harder? I mean, you sign up for sample class. You're not going to think that composing is harder than making drums. It's like that's like the only people who are sitting there like it's so much harder to compose a loop that somebody would actually want to use. Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you've only been doing this for 2 years on Grandma Ann's laptop, you know, and every time you make a melody, like it's some crazy thing, and your goofy ass is still using different presets every time you write a song because you think you can't use the same bass on every song, you know like what. Making drums is harder. The only people who say making drums is harder is people who struggle to make drums. That is the long and short of that. Whatever a given person struggles more with, that's what they think is harder, right? And everybody else is just lying. Am I tripping? You guys chime in, bro. Let me know. Y'all let me know. I don't sit down and write music and be like, "Oh my god, this is so hard." You know what I mean? Like, first of all, who does that? Who does that? Who sits down and does this shit and is like, "This is hard." You see what I'm getting at? Dread Wayne says making drums is harder. I seriously think like if if this shit is hard to you, you're just new. Like, you just new. Like, what's hard? This is fun. This is not hard. This is fun. This is fun. This is my fun time. Justin says, I think isolating the two is goofy. It's a part of making music. Ooh. Ooh. Justin, why do you think it's isolated though? Gig says equally enjoyable. is an answer. That is an answer, right? Like who gets to the point of doing the drums and they're just like, so hard. Where do I put the snare? You know, like you love, like you load up FL and you're just like, I just don't know where to put this roll. Whew, this is kicking my ass. What the fuck you talking about? Isolating the two is hilarious. Stupid man who says, how do you not know how to make a whole beat? How do you not know how to make the whole beat? How do you not know? Like, what are we doing? Because people focus on what they perceive they're good at and avoid what they're not. I see you, MH. Justin says hip hop is isolated because of sampling. The idea of sampling, then adding drums. Ooh. I see what you're saying. It's actually back. Well, I don't know. It might not be backwards now, but it used to be backwards, right? It used to be that you made that you did a drum program and then you layered the sample on top of it. 607 says people split it because some artists have an affinity for melodies and some artists have an affinity for rhythm. I can see that. Gig says drums might be more fun because the 808 can get you out of the seat. Manu says it's the new kids CMP. They're mad lazy. They're lazier than my generation. We're shaking our fist on the lawn today on this beautiful Saturday. That's what we're doing on Beyonce's internet. I'm here for it. Let's go. Let's go. And Antitrust says because industry producers don't do the whole beat. That's spicy. That's rather spicy. Think about that. You being serious, Ant, or you talking shit? 607 says neither should be considered more difficult because most of our sounds are not created from scratch. Let's get to it. Start with your affinity and get good for your weakness. Yo, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Look me right here, motherfuckers. Look me right here. Pay attention to me, right? If you have ever opened your if you have ever fixed your face to say that drums are the hardest part of making a beat, and therefore you deserve more credit for making the beat, I don't believe you. And the reason why I don't believe you is because your goofy ass is using a Lunch 77 kit. You're using an Oz kit. You're using a Big White Beat kit. Those are not your drums. Gone are the days where the drum producers were the goats. Do you know why? That all of the boom bap people could tap out the same pattern. But there was a variance from producer to producer. It was because these gentlemen were sampling different records and doing sound design and not creating the drum from scratch, not playing it and recording it, but they were crafting the sounds in such a way that DJ Premier had a snare, Jay Dilla had a snare, Pete Rock had a snare. They had signature sounds. They had signature drum sounds. But you mean to tell me, you goofballs who were using the chop snare are going to sit here and tell me that you are somehow this creative genius with your Lunch 77 kit and your Oz kit and your BWB kit? because you were able because you were able to find that snare that is the same in all three of those kits. Like, oh, this is, oh yeah, that's my favorite snare, and it's my favorite snare because I've heard it on 900 other songs. You guys know the snare I'm talking about? It's the same snare. Ooh, I switched it up. I brought in a rim shot. Look at me. Fuck are you guys talking about? Yo, 607, leave, bro. But 607 said Ninth Wonder had an awful snare. That's subjective. The point is, you knew that was Ninth Wonder's snare, right? You knew that was Ninth Wonder's snare, and that's the thing, right? Lex Luger had a snare until it was everybody's fucking snare. Young Chop had a snare until it was everybody's snare. 808 Mellow had a snare until it was everybody's snare. You know what I'm talking about? Like, at least you knew it was theirs, you know? So, my thing is, if you want to, if you want to stand on that, you can stand on it, and there's absolutely an argument to be made. There's absolutely an argument to be made, you know. But I better not hear the Young Chop snare in your drums, right? I I bet yeah, I better not hear a snare roll with that Lex snare. I better not hear that Lex Luger snare pitched up on your Memphis beats. I better not hear it. I better not hear a Spins 808. I better not hear a Zays. I better not hear a Zay. I better not hear a Plug 808 in your patterns. Never, not once. Right? Because you're a drum god. You're a drum god. And you put in the work, right? Right? Justin says, but CMP, it's harder to place the beat than to make it. I don't have an argument with that. It is. That's what I was talking. That's what I was talking about before. That's the one thing that you have to respect about the industry producers. You cannot. It is wholly intellectually dishonest. It is wholly intellectually dishonest and kind of some hoe shit to minimalize and marginalize what it took an industry producer to be in the position where they're at, where their plugs are their plugs. You can't marginalize that. You can't. It's wholly dishonest. And it's emotional. And I don't respect it at all. And if somebody was to say to me, like if I was in the, if I was in the seat where like the person I'm sending the shit to, right, and they was like, yo, I'll give you 15% of the record or whatever, right? I'm getting, I've got to split 50 with you, right? And out of this 50, I'm giving you 15, right? And I say, well, can't we split at 25? And they're like, nah, bro, we can't. And I ask why, and they say like, dude, I've worked my life to make these plugs. You have sent me emails. Like, I love that, that you've worked on this shit and you've been busting your ass, but you've been sending me emails, bro. Like, and I've been doing this my whole life to put myself into position, and this is what I was able to do. There's a value on my position. If there wasn't a value on my position, anybody else could do this, true or false. And then I would be intellectually dishonest to retort in that conversation and say, well, you know what, I disagree. You know what I'm saying? Like, and maybe that's because like I'm older. I don't feel that same naive entitlement because I know that music is not a meritocracy, and I think that's where a lot of people get disillusioned is they believe that the music industry is a meritocracy, that the person who in their musical contribution um is the end all be all, because it's not, bro. It's not. Yo, you guys are spamming I am the hi-hat god in my chat. You know, because that's my whole thing, guys. Like, I have just I think that's the reason I'm I think that's the reason why I'm fun for a lot of people to talk to, is because like my whole thing is I don't necessarily I don't listen. You never take a side, right? I don't take a side. I don't take a side and stand on it. All I do is try to look for consistency and honesty, right? And especially intellectual honesty. I hate when things go dumb. You know what I'm saying? And I think that to say that, if you're sitting in your home studio and there's somebody in New York, or there's somebody in Atlanta, and they're in the real studio with Lil Baby and them. There's a reason why they're in the studio with Lil Baby and them, and you're not, right? And it's because you didn't pick up your life and move to Atlanta to be in the studio with Lil Baby and them. So if you want to work with Lil Baby and them, you gotta pay something for that. You don't just get it for free just because you have a fucking doll. You don't. Am I tripping? Does that not make sense to everybody? MIDI Notes says, good point. How many things in life are a true and pure meritocracy? Nothing in life is a true and pure meritocracy. Nothing. Nothing. Name me one thing. One thing. So 100 Brand says selling beats is one thing, but you still have to. Yo, if you guys checked out So 100's new 808 pack, y'all got to check that. Justin says, sounds like you're paying dues. Sounds like paying your dues to me. Yeah, exactly. OBN says, OBN Chiba says, y'all use too many big words. So, software and sports. Rumothy, you know sports ain't a meritocracy, bro. Come on now. Come on now. AAU isn't a meritocracy. If But you said the closest. You didn't say true meritocracy, so I feel you. But yeah, man. So let's get into the old MPCC. I'm using samples. This is samples from Six Pack Volume One. You find it on CMP Kits. There, I have, bro. I leave. Listen, I leave little keys in my samples, in my sample packs. Right. You have, in order to make a dope beat now, especially with the whole, not a dope beat, but in order to make like a beat that is on the same caliber as the stuff that you hear placed on albums, like, you got to have 4 to 6 patterns in that beat, right? And those 4 to 6 patterns, they could be musical, they could be like musical tonal changes, or they could be rhythm changes, right? So you talk about drum changes, loop changes, something like that. But you need these 4 to 6 patterns in order to sound like something that you hear rappers on. Okay. um Inside my sample packs, I kind of tee you guys up for that because I make it so that there's loops in there that's why there's a lot of similar tempos. Like I'm really giving you guys the keys to like how to look at my packs because like for example, we're gonna do a I'm gonna do a beat right now where I'm gonna use a sample that's in G minor. I'm gonna use a sample that's in A minor. A minor is a couple tones up from G. We're gonna be using like the 1 2 chord progression method for doing a switch up in the sample. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, there is a video that we did on producercourses.com that was in the where we talked about how the push and P beat was made and the progression that they used to do the switch up in that beat. That's like a rolling 12 bar type of thing where it's the same drum pattern but the music changes and it makes it sound so much better. So we're going to be taking that concept, superimposing it on and doing it inside the MPC. It's going to be super easy. I'll show you what I'm talking about, right? So I have this sample right here. So that's going to be on one pattern, right? That'll roll out for 8 bars. Then we're gonna move over to this one, right? Have a similar same-ish drum pattern, whatever, and then that's how it's going to go. Let me get it so you guys can see me up here because you deserve to see my face. Oh, who is? Oh, what are you guys talking about? Dread Wayne says, set a beat competition. I want to hear all the super producers with great drums. Yeah, y'all need to invite Dread Wayne to Mouse's Discord so you can battle it out. Beat competitions are weird, bro. Beat like I never understood beat competitions like that. Like beats are beats are so subjective. Like the beat can't. I don't know. I don't understand beat competitions. But let's make this. Let's load. Let's load that. All right. Sample edit. We probably chop this up. Bet. All right, so let's go here.